Welcome to Corinne's Picks, where we have part two of our interview with Katori and Evan Bishop. Welcome back. This is part two of our interview with Katori and Evan Bishop. We talked so much in the last episode, we ran out of time, didn't get to show all your art, and at least now we get to see almost finished body paint on Katori's back. So, Katori, when we were in break, we were talking a little bit about you as a theater person. I was fascinated. Tell us about the play that you just produced.
Well, really exciting. It was a blessing. I've never written a play before. I've only acted very little, but I was given the opportunity to write a play on my family. It was originally one act play, and then I ended up getting a belly dancer, an African dancer, and a spiritual dancer to be a part of it, and two beautiful singers singing music pertaining to my play. And it's about the four generations and my unborn child. And it's about the journey of my great-grandmother who ran away from her 12 brothers and sisters, well, 7 brothers and sisters, and came here.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that story with your grandmother. She was from Guyana.
Yes, my great-grandmother was from Guyana, and she was raising, her parents had left.
Okay.
My great-great-grandparents had left, and she was raising their children, and she couldn't take it anymore.
Okay.
And so she ran away because she saw a better life.
Exactly.
And she wanted to have that dream. So she ran away on one of the cargo ships and found her way here and pretended to be a boy.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Yes, yes, yes. And then the story goes on and on to all the different choices that we make in life and the circumstances from each generation. And I play each character.
Okay. And so where was this play produced?
Well, this play has been right now traveling. Well, it just stopped to take a break, but it started off it was in Peekskill for 2 shows, and then it was in Ceres Gallery in Manhattan, and it was also in Yonkers in the public library.
Okay. And you're currently looking for a space to have it in Manhattan and the Bronx.
Yeah, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Harlem, Brooklyn, Queens, a space to show this story. People have come up and said that it was life-changing and has been encouraging, even though some of the things were very ironic or tragic in the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, last episode we started to show some of your work with the body painting.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the conversation got away from us, and we didn't finish seeing some of the images. So we definitely have to show some more images in this part of the
Sure.
of our episode. So let's see some more body paintings, please.
And real quickly, in this play, Evan did all the body artwork as well.
Oh, okay.
So there's a connection as well.
So you included body painting.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one.
So this was done at a Kwanzaa festival about 3 years ago. Didn't know what I was going to paint, but I knew that this was going to be my canvas, Katori's back. And it was actually on the day of Nia. So what I thought about, just looking at her back, I wanted to, incorporate the principles of Kwanzaa and, the candle lighting. So I wanted to make sure I did the proper candles, which ones were supposed to be lit. And that was a celebration of our culture, Kwanzaa.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Can we have the next image, please?
Okay, going back to the live body art. The theme, the tribute party, was for Marvel. And every artist, they had canvases. So you'll go to this place, music is playing, a party's going on, and you'll have wall-to-wall artists lined up with canvases. We just happen to be the only ones who use the skin as a canvas. But this was a tribute party for Marvel Comics. So every artist chose their character. Once again, the body is unlike a flat white canvas. It has curves and contours. So I wanted to choose a character that would kind of be incorporated with her body structure, not just on it, but doing it like that. So that was the perfect picture for me to rock with.
Okay. The next image, please.
That's my son, muscular back. This was for This was done last year, at the end of last year. There was a party that they were having, and I think it was during the time of Kwanzaa. So, talking to him, asking him what he wanted. He said he wanted a black power fist. So I did the black power fist, but that wasn't kind of the fullness of it. So I kind of did the outline of Africa and played with that. And the lightning bolts just brought it all together. And the Eye of Horus is part of our culture. So using this form is important because we realize that body adornment is ancient. Our ancestors have been doing it for eons, and I'm just bringing it in a way that kind of speaks to our culture and what we're doing in this current day.
Well, the next time we have you on this show, I hope you can do some set design to express your art.
Oh, don't say that. I'll come with some spray
cans. And you can take it with you.
That'd be
that'd
wonderful.
nice.
But it would have been, I'm just thinking that it would have been really cool.
Nice touch.
To have had this is my husband's art.
It's beautiful.
I don't think the audience knows that, but.
Big ups.
Okay, so can we have the next image, please?
Okay. Let me say this. As body artists, one thing that we take pride in is that when people think of body art, they think of nudity, they think of young people only, and we want to let people know it's fun. A lot of times, if she wanted to get this as a tattoo,
right,
she can get the dove, but it wouldn't be white. She wouldn't get all these bright colors on her beautiful brown skin. So what we want to do is to celebrate ourselves.
Exactly.
So this was done probably 3 years ago at a party. He loved the quote. He's a athlete. So we decided that we collaborated and chose Muhammad Ali, and his quote to celebrate during that live art experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you currently exhibiting as a fine art? I know you're doing body art, but
Yes.
what about your fine art career in terms
Yes.
of doing things on campus? Are you currently exhibiting anywhere?
Yes, we exhibit all throughout Yonkers. We just finished curating an exhibit during Black History Month at the Blue Door Art Center in Yonkers, where we had probably over 40 artists that we curated.
Over 50.
Over 50 artists that we curated. We have friends who have art organizations that we do pop-up shops. So we did one last Thursday in the Bronx. So I'm exhibiting.
Also in Manhattan, right? So we have our artwork all differently, and then we also curate artwork, and so we're having a real big one next year in June at Borica College.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. And so we had one there before, and it was a couples art show when both we did our work together and we showed our work. But we really encourage young artists. I also have a podcast that I just started.
Okay.
And it's called the Art and Soul Show.
Oh,
and so
okay.
interviewing, young artists and also, people and entrepreneurs. So we're very active in helping wanting people to have a voice.
You guys
Yeah.
are extremely active. You've listed almost 20 activities.
That's why I said be
20
careful.
projects that you're currently involved in.
Right. And the key thing is this, and I tell young people all the time, once you find what that gift is, what that
Exactly.
purpose is, you got to run full flow with it.
Exactly.
And, the one thing I tell them is that there's enough miserable adults. Don't be that next miserable adult. If you love something, you want to pursue it. And what Katori and I are able to do is we're creating spaces where people are empowered, people are encouraged, and people are inspired to do what works for them. Art works for us, and we want to run from there.
You told me that your degree is in art and design.
Yes.
How did you get your start in art? What was your influence in terms of becoming an artist?
Me?
Both. I want to hear from both of you, really.
4 years old, I got scolded for writing on the walls. My mom was checking me, and she reminds me that that's the time I just took a stand. I'm an artist. I'm gonna do this again. I'm an artist. I didn't say get over it to my mother, but it was like I took that stand at 4, and I realized at that point, art was something where I didn't need approval. I didn't need permission. I can create I can create my own universes, and that's the way it started. But as a teenager, the art classes were boring. They were too controlling. You could only paint in this space, so graffiti art became the beck and call for me. So in the 80s, I realized the power of spray cans and every surface that you can spray on. And what that gave me is it gave me a background and an understanding that I apply even to the skin, because it's not flat, it's not uniform. Everyone's skin is different.
Right.
But when you're tagging as a graph artist, any wall is headlines. You know, where can you, the boldest and the biggest, and that's what I take pride in.
So were you one of those kids
Absolutely.
doing the side of the train?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the subway trains. Moms realized that that was not the healthiest thing, so we kind of negotiated something where I was still spray painting, but in a safe space. And even when I went to college, when I got my college degree, my final project was all graph. And they were telling me I wasn't going to get my degree, but the paper and the graph kind of lined up to be A quality, so they had to give me my degree.
And for me, mine comes from a little darker place. So I was raped and tortured. And so when I started to paint and express myself, it turned out to be these cute little Katori kids instead of something like, you know, dark or anything like that. And mine was really from a challenge that somebody else who was, I thought was a phenomenal painter, she painted angels, and she wanted to enter this contest. And she goes, I'm not going to do it. I said, I will. She goes, only if you do it. And I was like, I don't paint. I'm not an artist, you know. And so I did do it. I came in with honorable mention. And then that was when the first Katori Kids was born. And then I continued on.
How old were you when you started Katori Kids?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. I had to say maybe I was like 24, 25. Like it was 1999. I'm like giving my age away? Oh, please don't do that.
So what about you said that you've been a lifelong writer, because I know that you said you wrote this play. So you started out as that was your painting.
Yes.
But what about your writing?
So I've always been writing all along because I went to school for journalism and sociology, and it was just a passion of mine. And I would write these stories and poems on and off in my career. I wanted to go that way, but I ended up being in production. But I did write 3 books for Scholastic.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, they're called Little Rookie Readers, and they were geography books. And so I was able to do that, make my mama proud. God rest her soul. And but you know, this was my first time actually writing. I didn't have any experience. And I just did it. I believe if you believe in something and you really want to do it, and you might not have the financial means to do it, find a way. And I just did it, and the universe just worked its way toward me to get a director and actually get people to volunteer their time without getting paid to be a part of this play. And so Ajuma was born.
You know, being around you as a couple, I mean, there is so much energy in this space right now. I mean, you guys are the most active. I mean, I've had a number of interview shows, but you guys are actually the most productive and active artists I've actually had on the show.
Thank you. Guess what? Guess what 320 stands for?
Oh boy.
The hours in a day.
Yeah, right. Where we work.
in your day.
We were both born on 320. We have the
March
same
20th.
birthday.
Okay,
Yep.
so we're going to cut right now. We're going to go to a short commercial, and then we'll be back with Katori, and we'll be back with Evan.
For sure.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Hang with a gypsy. Hang with a gypsy. Hang with a gypsy girl. Hang with a gypsy. Hang with a gypsy. Hang with a gypsy girl.
welcome back to Corinne's Picks. When we left off, we were talking to Katori and Evan. What a wonderful image of Katori's back.
Thank
you. Actually, we started it in one episode and finished it in the second episode. Can you talk a little bit about the image?
Okay, so as I said, when we started off, I wanted you to choose a design. You spoke about the need for peace and the dove, so I thought about the dove. The Corinne picks kind of just came as I was finishing up. Okay. But what I like to do, similar to the lessons I learned in graffiti art, is always the highlights and the shadows.
Exactly.
So I wanted to look like the dove is flying off her back. So without these shadows, it would just look flat. So by adding those shadows and the highlights on top is kind of a play with the eyes, and it's the illusion that it's coming off the skin.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Katori, do you ever, like for example, if you're going to a street fair or just somewhere in public, do you ever just, the way we put on our jewelry and our makeup, do you ever just put a painting on your back? And
Absolutely, on my back, on my face. In fact, a real funny story, real quick, is that he did this beautiful butterfly. Did you show?
No.
Okay. One of my favorites is a beautiful butterfly, and I was walking through Manhattan doing different things, and people were like, "Does it hurt? Does it hurt?" And I'm like, "What hurt?" Because I forgot I had it on my back.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh," and I was like, they thought it was a tattoo. It was that way. But I will. In fact, some people will not recognize me without anything because I usually have
it's fantastic.
something on my face.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the hipsters, like the millennials, they're doing a lot of things with the body paint as makeup. It's kind of interesting that you're doing the body art, but also people are going back to the traditional African roots where, they wore body art.
That's right.
Absolutely, and you're seeing a lot of that, and people are requesting that. So we have been asked to, someone was doing a video and they asked to have the different types of dots and different things.
Exactly.
People are adding things, embellishments, so I'll add sometimes to Evan's work, I'll add little diamonds and studs and little glitter to it, and so it's really a fun thing that's happening. Yeah.
Okay, so we still have some more of your images to show. So let's go back to some of your images.
Sure.
Oh.
That's been quite some time ago. This was actually probably the first year I met Katori. I finally convinced her that her body's a canvas, and so I wanted to do something kind of modern artish, without it being graffiti influenced, something subtle. So the vase, she actually had a vase in her living room, and I kind of captured that. And I like the black and white with the hat. It almost looks like she's a painting in that way. So kind of more stylized, but.
And again, being a model for Evan, and we have other models as well, and
Yes.
they're wonderful people. But I don't really, believe it or not, like showing my body too much. But we would never know. But just being the model and doing it, I think his work is done very tastefully.
Yeah.
And so I don't mind bearing my body.
Yes. Okay. You see, I got my gear on my head. This is actually a tribute party for Keith Haring.
Oh wow.
We wanted to celebrate Keith Haring, and I always remembered the phenomenal full body art he did of Grace Jones. And he painted Grace Jones from head to toe. And while we were at the party, I really just wanted to celebrate it. And it was fun to do because there's no right or wrongs with it. It's like you just get up, set up, and do something. And we wanted to kind of show that.
Right. So he also painted my legs as well, which is
Yeah.
not in that shot. But he painted everything,
Interesting.
Head to toe.
my face
sure.
and everything.
I think we have 3 more images.
Okay. Wow. So this tribute party, the theme was, who is your favorite MC?
Right.
Who's your favorite hip hop actor, whatever.
Right.
And for a week, I was struggling, like, what am I gonna paint? What am I gonna paint? And finally, it came up to the fact that I wanted to celebrate multiple artists. So we got Tribe Called Quest, we got Wu-Tang, Nas, Public Enemy, and De La Soul. So that was, when we did that, plus we got the rope chain to kind of bring it all into the hip hop flavor. So that was really a fun experience, and it got a lot of good feedback on social media because we wanted to celebrate our artists.
Heroes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one.
Okay, this one of our models, Katori, if anyone's interested in being one of our models for 320 Body Art, they can contact us through 320bodyart@gmail.com.
Okay.
We welcome all sizes and types of models. We have a lot of events throughout the year, especially during this time. So this model, she said, whatever you want to do. And we were in this, chakra alignment period in our personal lives. So we wanted to celebrate the chakras. So we can
Okay.
use this platform of body art to really educate people about things that go beyond what they probably experience in their normal lives. So the chakras becomes that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was for a political statement.
Yeah, this was when there was so much going on with the pipelines in North Dakota and all those things, even the Flint, Michigan, the atrocities that these people still not drinking clean water. Water is
exactly.
life. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it started off with this full moon design, which was in the middle of her head, and then from there we thought about the water elements. So when we're painting, she's just as much a part of the creative process as I am. So we discuss it, she gives pointers and tips, and we come up with some great things. And I always like to use lettering in my art, going back to my graffiti background.
Right. So this one really was dear to my heart too. So water is life, and we got a lot of responses on that. So yes,
And
politically
also,
used.
not everybody knows it, but a lot of, you see the Native American activism, but, the Afro-American presence in the United States and the Native American presence in the United States, we actually have merged in our histories. During slavery, a lot of Native Americans became part of our family
Absolutely.
lineage.
That's
So,
right.
and in your case, that pipeline issue would be partly your issue as well.
Right.
Right, right.
your-
Because my
your-
background,
is
my
Native-
father's side is Native
you're
American.
American.
Yeah.
It's all connected. And we're just using the art to heal, to inspire, and to encourage people to find their truth and celebrate what you got.
Okay. So I know you're almost, it's so funny that the West Indians have the joke about we have 3 jobs. I think who were talking about
Yes.
about you two.
Yeah. I think when it's all said and done, this is the space that there's a door that's opening up for us as artists, and our synergy as a couple is helping us to walk through spaces that maybe I would not feel so comfortable going into by myself, but she gives me the fuel and I do the same for her. So there's a true synergy to what we bring to the world.
And working as a couple is a whole nother
That's another
segment.
episode.
Because it's true. You have to be able to learn how to work in relationship and all that stuff. But we seem to be doing very well with it.
I think it's support. It's support. It's really hard to be an artist if your spouse or your partner is just not behind you. It's just very hard.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been lucky, and actually, knowing me, my husband became more of an artist himself.
Good.
Wow.
That's the whole purpose,
Yeah,
to
he started
encourage each
painting.
other. Yeah.
But what I would like to explore is what's coming up. Like, what is 2020, 2021 going to look like for the two of you in your art?
Really finding the proper organizational structure to umbrella all that we do.
Yeah.
And just really making sure that it's sustainable. KRS-One, my brother dear to me, he said something phenomenal. We have to create cultural strategies that are worthy of our children. That's what we do. We want to make sure that the programs, the opportunities, the elements that we create are sustainable. It's not just that flash in the sky and gone, but something that can really continue to flourish and grow. Even when we step back, it's sustainable.
Exactly. So it's for the children, it's for the people who are now, and it's also for the elders.
Our elders.
That's so important. When
All
we
the
did
time.
100 Words of Wisdom, elders were saying we were learning from other people younger. I mean, there's always younger and older.
And what I can say is the project that we're doing now, Yes Yonkers, we have, for the fashion show aspect of it, we have 2 of our seniors, our elders from the 100 Words of Wisdom. They are our featured designers. So we're keeping our
Fantastic.
elders close to us as we go through this. It wasn't a one-time thing. It was definitely a time to celebrate.
Okay, wonderful. If you'd like to learn more about Katori or Evan, we have a long list of information from them and the rolling credits. I hope you'll be back on
Absolutely.
Corinne's Picks. This is wonderful. I feel like I feel almost guilty and lazy after being around you two. I was like, whoa! I thought I was the hardest working woman in America, but I think I'm going to stop saying that. I think you two basically have taken the throne.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Work to be done. We'll
It's a
do
lot
it.
of work to be done.
And it's a sacrifice too, but we believe that what we're doing is the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
being
so
on the
much.
show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
I'ma show you how to party.